What's going on, and welcome back to another episode of Redefining Issued Equipment. And in this video we're going to be going over the reassembly of the KDH plate carrier in the event that you have disassembled this for the most part and added some sort of aftermarket cummerbund or system to make it a little bit more comfortable. So with that, we'll start with the back plate to bag and get that reassembled, and then we'll transition over to the side plate bags to make sure that those are correctly put back together, and some things to think about when it comes to the adjustments and things like that need to happen. And then we'll move over to the front plate bag and reassemble the cutaway system, and then that way you know how to reassemble this in its entirety to be able to turn it back in if you have to turn it in. So with that, a couple of notes right off the bat: make sure you have all of your equipment. The side plate straps that are going to connect up to the top here for the back plate bag. Make sure you have all of the little snaps like you see this one here for the side plate bag straps that are actually connected to the side plate bags, because these are a critical point to make sure that these connect inside of the plate carrier themselves. You don't absolutely need these to run these plate bags, but it does make disassembly and assembly a lot easier. So but they do come with a system, so you do want to make sure that you have them. In addition to that, you're going to need your 4 buckles for the front plate bag and how the cutaway system comes together, plus your cable here, and then any straps for the side plate bags when it comes to connecting the side plate bags to the front plate bag. So with that, jumping right into it for this back plate bag section, when you're reassembling these little snaps and using the tri-glides and the little ring here, just make sure that your snap is facing inward, because this is going to connect to the little square D-rings that are going to be in the center of your back plate bag. So with that, all you're going to do is take your strap, pass it all the way through, make sure your camo is on the outside, pass it through that tri-glide like so, and then through the little D-ring as well, or just kind of circular ring. So that's what that will look like when it's all put together, and then you can just make your adjustments as needed depending on where those were sitting beforehand. And then from there, your side plate bags that you have here for your left and your right are going to go into the bottom little cutout down here, and then this middle cutout for reinstallation. So how that will look is you're going to open this up. You're going to have these little rings right here. Your bottom one's going to go on the bottom one, and it's just simply passing that snap through the loop and connecting it like so. And then same with this one right here. It's going to go through that middle section, pull all that material through with it as well. And then you'll have that second set of snaps right here that you're going to connect for your side plate bags. So that's what that will look like. And then just make sure you keep these straps out of the way as you go in and do the other side. You can do top to bottom, bottom to top. It's completely up to you. Get all this put in there. Snapped into place like so. So then that way both your top ones are connected. Tuck your straps up in there just so that way they're out of the way for now, and then you can always come back to those later and clean them up. And then same thing with this last one. You're going to come down to the bottom, snap that in place, and then both your bottom side plate bag connectors are going to be all there. And then from there, just take that extra material, tuck it away so that way it's out of the way, and then you can close the bottom of the plate carrier up. From there, we have the connectors for the MOLLE portion of the side plate bags. That's going to connect to this D-ring right here. So I would start with setting this up and then just adjusting the snap and then the slack that you have on the strap from there. So it's just going to go down and in like so. You're going to have to pull those tabs up and out of the way to be able to reinsert it. And these are a little complicated when it comes down to it. Like, they don't really want to work with you all that well. So if you need to fold them in, use a screwdriver or a pen or whatever to get them back down in there, by all means, use those pieces of equipment that you can get, or use those items to be able to get that piece of equipment and the strap back into place. So you can see how it already kind of wants to fight. So one thing you can do, try and fold those up as much as possible and in. And then I like to take a pen or some sort of stick or dowel or tool, get it started, and then eventually it will go through. Goodness gracious. Yeah, the entire time you're fighting these things from wanting to go back down into position, which is good because then they want to go back into the position that they're supposed to be in. But like you can see, it can be complicated. So that's what it will look like when it's back in. Make sure you stow it back down here at the bottom, and then you'll just take your little snap here, connect it to this D-ring, and then stow your excess material inside the plate carrier. I would recommend rolling those up using paper tape. That way if you need to adjust it and get some more slack or whatever the case may be, it's a lot easier to rip that paper tape, and then you don't have that residue that's left over from 100 mile per hour tape and or electrical tape. So paper tape works very well, especially for something that's going to be constantly stowed and kind of protected from the weather and the environments. So same thing on the other side. Fold those up. Use whatever tool you need to be able to get that back up into position. And then pull everything through. There we go. All right. And then again, up here at the top, through that snap, or through that D-ring, and then snap it into place. And then that way, here up at the top, those are connected. Stow your extra material. And that essentially completes setting up the back plate bag and the side plate pockets that are going to be connected to it. So we can move on from there. Just tuck all this stuff away. Actually, before I get too far away, side straps and the buckles for your plate carrier and the front plate bag. If you remove these for some of those aftermarket cummerbund systems like the Arbor Arms and some of the other stuff that's out there, just make sure that you restow these and reconnect them as well. Just like that. And then adjust it to whatever settings that you probably had it at before. Roll it all up, and then use your little Velcro straps to hold everything down. So now that completes that portion for the plate carrier. So back plate bag and the side plate bags are good to go. So that is how you reassemble the rear plate bag and all of that stuff. For the front, a little bit more tricky when it comes down to it, because you do have to pass this cable cutaway system through these little clips and everything. So what I like to do is just pre-stage everything on the left and the right. Let me get this out of the way real quick. There we go. And that way I know that all those buckles are going to be there. And then what I'll do is just make sure that this is set up right there. So what's going to happen is you're going to take your cables. There's going to be two little holes right here in the side of your cutaway pull tab pocket that are going to connect to the shoulder straps that are going to sit right in here. With these shoulder strap sections, hopefully I can show you guys because they're real hard to see, but maybe not. There is You can kind of see the top of it right there as I pull it open, maybe. I'm trying to get you guys a decent view of it. There it is. So that bar right here, where my thumb is at, is a larger version of kind of these little loops that are on the back plate carrier, and where these straps connect. So it's kind of like a tri-glide, but it's a larger kind of a version of this, where everything connects for the plate carrier, shoulder straps for the front and the back and all that. What you're gonna have to do with that is take these shoulder straps, pass them through those little metal sections, so that way when you pass this cable through it for your cutaway system, that metal piece is going to lock all of this in place and prevent the shoulder strap from coming off. So you have to make sure that this shoulder strap goes through this metal piece that's right here in the shoulder pocket, and the cable sits on the inside or the interior of all of that, so that way this doesn't pull out on you. So just make sure that you do that when it comes down to it. They're really hard to see. You'll be able to feel them and whatnot when you're messing around with them. But it is kind of a tri-glide type system, or what it looks like. So with that, when it comes to setting these up, there's two angles of attack that you can go through. You can go from the bottom of the plate carrier with one arm, and then the shoulder strap here up at the top, and then you're going to have to kind of feel your way around in there. And if you have a headlamp, you can also use that as well, but it's really not hard to feel your way around. So right now I've got it passed through that tri-glide and the little loop section that's there, and then from here I'm going to come up to the top. I'm going to find that little cutout for the cutaway cable, and then I'm going to make sure from here I'll get it just slightly started inside of that shoulder strap that this cable is going to pass through, and then I'm going to make sure that that tri-glide is sitting above it. So my cable is right here with the loop of the shoulder strap. The tri-glide is roughly right around here. So, and you just have to make sure the shoulder strap goes through the tri-glide, so that way as you pass this cable through all the way, when you pull up against that shoulder strap, it isn't going to come out. So from there, you can see I'm pulling on the whole thing. It ain't going to come out because this is locked in place. So from here, what you'll do is you'll take your buckles with a little cable cutout that's right there, and you're going to come through the sides right here, and I'll show you kind of a better image down here because it's a little bit easier. So what you'll do is you'll pass this tab that's on the inside of it all through there, and then all the way over where that cable is going to connect to, or where that cable is going to pass through. And that way, when you pass this through, it's going to put tension on all of that and prevent those buckles from coming out, so then that way you can buckle your side plates and that cummerbund system into that buckle right there. So you're going to do that on all four of them. It's just easiest to see it right there. But this same concept that you're doing right here is what you're also trying to do up here in the shoulder strap. So pull this one out. That way I can come up here and do it in the top portion. Tab goes through the loop. Pull the loop over the cable slot, and then pass that cable through everything, and then give it a nice pull, and then you'll be able to see right there that that cable is on the inside, and that little circular loop is holding everything in place and preventing that buckle from coming out. So we're going to do it again down here at the bottom. Tab first, pull that loop over the cable slot, and then that is going to go through like so. And then from here, your tail end has this little pocket right here that you're going to just push that cable back up into. And that is the right hand side. Same thing on the left hand side. Come up through the center, find that tri-glide, pass it through the top opening, pull it all the way down, and then from there, take our cable, find the cable cutout up here at the top, pull that cable through. There we go. And then from there, just make sure that tri-glide is up top and then the loop is on the bottom, and then you will pass this through. I do apologize that I can't get you guys a better angle on this, because even with trying to put the camera inside of the plate bag, it's really hard to see because there's just not a whole lot of light. So it is very much a feel type thing. So from there, I'm just going to pull that strap all the way up, make sure that it locks that cable in, and then we'll come down here from there, take our buckle, pass it through that loop again with that tab side, pull that loop all the way around, and then pass the cable through the cable channel, like so, and then just double check it right there, and then same thing down here at the bottom again. Take that tab, pass it through the little loop that you see there, and then take that cable and pass it through that cable channel. And then stow your cable up in the cable slot, and that completes that reassembly of the plate carrier and the cutaway system. And then from here, it's just a matter of going and buckling everything back together and completing the kit. So that is what it all looks like when it's all said and done and you've reassembled your plate carrier, both for the front side and the back side. And then you're good to go to be able to turn this back in or do whatever you need to do with it. So if you have any questions, please feel free, leave a comment. We will help you out in any way that we can. And with that, like, share, and subscribe, and we'll see you next time.